All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our latest quarterly update from our Db2 tools community. My name is Len Thompson. I just want to welcome you. Before I hand you off to Andy and the team today, just a few things I need to cover. First, if you have questions along the way, and we always hope that you do, please ask them right in the questions box under the GoToWebinar control panel. We'll get through as many of those as we can today. If we run out of time, or if something requires some research, I will make sure I gather all your information and hand it off to the team so they can follow up with you. We are recording the session today, which is why your lines are all muted. That replay will be available out in the Db2 tools community probably later today. So if you want to watch some of it again, or if you want to share it with a colleague, please direct them there. And the last thing from me is that we want to make sure these sessions are as valuable as possible. So with that in mind, I pulled together a survey that will pop up at the end. If you can stick around and give us some feedback, I know everyone on the team would really appreciate it. That's it for me, so take it away, Andy.
Thanks, Len. Welcome, everyone. It is September already. Where does the time go? So without further ado, we'll jump right into this quarterly community update. Quick disclaimer, everything we're going to talk about is stuff that's available, but if there are questions and conversations arise that lead into futures, any future conversations about future items is subject to change based, at any time in the future. That's that. I'm Andrew Badgley. I'm the lead product owner for the DB Tools space here at Broadcom, along with Ison, Jakob, and Srini. For those of you who count the slide, Raba is still with Broadcom. He has just moved into a product management role, and we wish him the best in his new responsibilities. We have a pretty good agenda today. We're going to talk about just real quick Level Set 09, which was published at the end of August. We're going to talk about some log analyzer and recovery analyzer enhancements, some common services changes, and utility updates. And then moving into our admin space and our REST API server services, and then moving into our performance suite with Thread Terminator, Plan and Bind Analyzer, and SysView for DB2. So real quick touch on Level Set 9. Level Set 9, as I mentioned, was published at the end of August, and everything that we talked about today is available as a PTF prereq with the Level Set 9 PTF. So if you get Level Set 9, you will have access to all the functionality we're going to talk about today. I do include a couple of links here. One is directly to the support download site for the PTF. Also, a link to our community post where we talk about the reiterate and talk about the contents of Level Set 9, as well as our actual tech docs update. And with that, and if at any point, if at the end or whatever point you guys have questions about what is a level set, if there's someone on the call that hasn't heard me talk about level sets before or heard us talk about level sets, you have questions about level sets, please ask us. We'll be happy to talk about that during this call as well. But moving on, I'll turn it over to Ison for Log Analyzer.
Hello, everyone.
There you go. We can hear you now.
I had a delay to unmute myself. Okay, the first update is about Log Analyzer. Support table spaces pending chains. So now your Log Analyzer now supports alter table space drop pending chains. This means that our tool can now accurately identify and report the execution of this command, and that will be reported by DDL activity report. And following the identification of the execution of the command, Log Analyzer can generate, undo, and redo DDL statements for you. On the next slide, I have one more update, and it is about Recovery Analyzer. Refresh Recovery Analyzer repository tables for individual databases. You can now specify individual databases when refreshing data in Recovery Analyzer repository tables. This feature allows you to limit the scope of the refresh ultimately saving valuable computational resources. To refresh the data for one or more individual databases, all you need to do is to execute our new program, which is PRL REFT. We already have a program PRA load. It refreshes all the objects in a DB2 subsystem. With PRA load, it is possible to exclude some databases. However, it doesn't result a significant resource saving as our new program does. PRL REFT program retrieves and saves data only for the requested databases, so running instead of PRA load saves computational resources. However, keep in mind that narrowing down the scope of refreshed objects also narrows down and limits the scope of Recover Analyzer as well. So now you have these two options to pick the one serves for your scenario the best. And today, those are all my updates. Yeah, any question or feedback about my updates?
No questions so far.
Okay.
Thanks, Tyson. And so moving from our backup recovery suite into our common services and utilities is Jakob.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Jakob Hofman. I'm the product owner for our DB2 utilities and common services. The first enhancement I would like to present to you today is enhancement to the DB2L global command. It now can display the level set PTF maintenance and active level set values in addition to the DB2 catalog level, function level, previous highest level, and a code level. The maintenance level helps you to determine the current level of maintenance and features that have been installed on your DB2 subsystems to help you ensure that you're current on the maintenance. DB2 command can be issued either through the command line and DB2 tools main panel or in other panels. And the output is the example that you can see now. Or as you can see on the next slide, you can also get the data in a batch through the batch processor. And the example of that output is what you can see right now. The next enhancement is for a fast load, and the fast load now supports the object level compression type specified when the object was created. Can go to next slide. Yeah, thank you. IBM's function level 509 introduced the capability to explicitly specify either the fixed length or a Huffman compression algorithm at the table space, or partition level using the create table space, and alt table space statements. The DB2 catalog is updated to indicate the compression algorithm used for each object. And when the function level was released, FastLoad was not able to determine what compression type, whether fixed length or Huffman, was used in loaded table space DDL. Therefore, it might use a different compression algorithm when loading an empty table or replacing an existing one. However, FastLoad now supports the compression type specified in the loaded table space DDL. The compress used column is now correctly updated in the sysibm.sys table part catalog table based on the type of compression that is used, and as a consequence, our users can get a benefit of the greater flexibility initially provided by function level 509, while still you can operate our FastLoad that together with previous enhancement provides you with the higher value. If there are no questions, we can move forward. There's another enhancement of PFL, and it now writes compression dictionaries to the Db2 log. FastLoad can now write compression dictionaries into the Db2 log when you specify load replace without keep dictionary. Use the new dictionary write log keyword to log the compression dictionary when a table in a compressed table space or partition is loaded. This new enhancement provides you with the benefit that you now have greater flexibility when ObjectDML log data requires decompression for log analysis and replication solutions. We can observe a synergy between our FastLoad and our log analyzer. Log analyzer is used to request a report on a DML activity before the load replace. As a result, log analyzer determines that the dictionary in a table space is not valid for the log data. The sysibm.syscopy catalog table is queried for the location of the compression dictionary, and log analyzer reads the dictionary from the Db2 log and decompresses the data for the DML activity report. It comes with a few conditions that must be met, like those that you can see on the slide. And that is all from my side. We welcome any questions.
No questions so far.
All right, then thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Jakob, for the updates around the common services and utilities. Moving from that suite over to our admin suite is Srinivas Adupa. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Srini.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Andy. Hope I'm audible. Yeah, hello all. My name is Srinivas Adupa, and I am the product owner for RC Query under Db2 Admin Suite. Today I wanted to talk about a new report that's being created under RC Query, which is collection ID and plan. Right, we got to know that some of our customers were asking about it. The story behind that is we do have the plan collection ID report already in RC Query. That's where the users used to take the advantage of executing that particular report by looking at, what are all the collection IDs that are connected to a specific plan. But the other use case is that, okay, what if I want to know what are all the plans that are connected to a specific collection ID or a set of collection IDs? And that's where we got some requests from some customers, and then we wanted to make sure that we are addressing that, and this report is the result of that one. Now we do have the collection ID plan report that's that can be executed by CLP command. All the commands that are executable through RC Query on the collection IDs, or it can be of plans, are going to be applicable on this. And as we always used to say, question mark is our first friend, right? So in this particular panel, I'm just typing question mark to see that, okay, what are all the commands that I can execute on a specific collection ID. Please observe that the question mark is being typed on the collection ID name. So the moment that I have selected question mark, in the next panel, we are going to get, next panel, please. In the next panel, we are going to get the list of commands that can be executed for these, for the collection ID that's been selected. And subsequent to this particular panel, the next panel is another list of commands, that can also be executed on this collection ID. And in the next panel, we have also typed the question mark again on the plan, please observe the plan name is going to be started below 2 bytes, in the sense starting from the 3rd byte of collection ID plan name. And that's where I'm just typing the question mark to see what are all the commands that can be executable on a specific plan. So in the next panel, we are going to see all the commands that are supportable for, supportable to be executed as the line commands for this particular plan. Totally, we do have 2 set of panels on this. In the next screen, also, we do have the same, another list of commands. Yes, yeah. So here we have typed the question mark for the collection IDs and plans. So you could bind a set of, all the packages that are related to a collection ID or plan, or, you can even bind, rebind set of plans or packages that are related to a collection ID and plan. So in other words, all the commands that we can execute today in other reports on collection IDs or plans are also going to be supportable in this collection ID plan report as well. So in the next slide, please. So this is the only thing that I have. So if you have any questions, I would like to address them. Otherwise, I'll jump on to the next one.
No questions, Srini.
Len?
You can keep going.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so this is another one, an enhancement that we have upgraded the REST services or the REST APIs that are currently supported under Java 8. All the code base has been upgraded to Java 11 right now. So if there is any use case from the customer perspective that is only applicable from Java 11, yeah, those things are going to be supported. And then all the code base, as the code base is currently upgraded to Java 11 for all the Broadcom DBMDS REST APIs today. That's pretty much I have on this. Yeah, okay, this is the PDF as Andy already mentioned before, the same PDF number. If you would like to take advantage of this one, please, use this.
Thanks, Srini, for the update in the admin space,
Thank you.
as well as our REST API space. I know our REST APIs service more than just admin, so thank you for that. Okay, now moving into our performance suite with Thread Terminator. Well, I guess technically Thread Terminator is part of our value package, but I think of it more on the performance side. So we have additional ZParm support added to Thread Terminator. We have several Db2 ZParms that we have added. I know we've heard from customers clearly that they expect Thread Terminator to be up to date with ZParms, and so we are working our way to get there. And we're pretty close, but we aren't quite there yet. But this adds a fair amount. We're getting pretty close. And to my best of my knowledge, we've added all of the ones that we've had customer requests for. So if you have a specific request for a ZParm that you don't see within Thread Terminator, please open up the community idea, let us know, and we will get it added, because those do take priority as we add them and get caught up. So these parameters, they are read-only, and so you can access them through the Views DSN ZParm data option within Thread Terminator. And these are the 7 additional ZParms that we have added. If any of these ZParms are, or if there are any ZParms that you prefer and would like to see us provide update and modification support for, also please open up community ideas for those, because while we are focusing right now on just getting view into those, we are looking for which ones we should be focusing on from an update perspective. So please do open up community ideas, and if you have a preference of things that you'd like to see there as well. Okay, now moving into the plan analyzer and bind analyzer space. Db2 has introduced a new bind option, depth level. This bind option is available with Db2 function level 5, Db2 13 function level 502. I've got to start getting careful and actually saying which DB2 version when we're talking function levels. And this, does allow you to say, specify a dependency level of package or statement. Depth level enables the recording of statement level package dependencies and provides package validation at the statement level. And so that this information is stored in the DB2 catalog. Previously, before this was available, that dependency and the dependency information and validation level was at the package level. And so now by rolling things down and allowing you to specify at bind time a statement level, when you make alterations to your objects, so say you add a column to a table, if that alteration doesn't impact the statement, then that statement is not invalidated and would potentially not need to be rebound to be functional. So that's some of the benefits there. It does add additional tracking within your catalog, within the catalog objects, because now you're reporting at the statement level and recording at the statement level. So keep that in mind if you do choose to use that. But Plan Analyzer and Bind to Analyzer do support generating bind statements with that keyword. Now moving into SysView for DB2. We have several things here. We're going to start with report updates to support IFKID changes. And we're going to start with the SQL text report. There is a new abort commit status in IFKID 124, specifically related to whether or not the SQL, the in progress, the active SQL statement is what's the status? Is it an abort or commit has been added into that status state? So now, when you are looking at the SQL text report, which is the currently executing SQL statement for the thread report, you can see the abort or commit status related to that statement if it's in one of those states. Multiple reports have been updated in response to the new reason codes in IFKID 376. The IFKID 376 has added 3 additional reason codes. The 1204 is part of DB213 M100. So if you are DB213 M100 and below, and you are using SQL that is referencing current server or current time zone, the reason code 1204 is going to get generated, because that behavior moving forward after functional 100, that behavior has changed. So also the 13.15.001 and 031 reason codes, those are when you're running DB213 function level 502 and below. And this changes the default max parts. It reports on when you're using a create table space or create alter table, and your object is using default, is defaulting to your max partitions. Because from functional DB213 function level 502 and below, the max parts is 256. Starting with 503, I believe it's 503. I maybe 502. Apologize for not being quite clear on that. The default is changed to 254. So when you have the maintenance applied and you start still using that lower function level as your Apple compat level, then you will get these records generated indicating that you are generating an object with a non-standard, a deprecated default behavior. I won't go into the reasons why they changed it from 256 to 254, but if you are interested, please send me a note or ask me at the end, and I'll be happy to talk about that a little bit more. The following reports have been updated to show these new reason codes. And I will refrain from reading all these off to you, but here they are. I'll just give you just a second to look through them. And this PDF will be available for download if I skim past this and you haven't gotten through those yet. Next up is IQL report updates for the new copy ID field in IFKID 148 and 346. SysView for DB2 does add support for the new package copy ID field. And so these reports have been updated. This will help your administrators know which package they're looking at, which copy of the copy ID version of the package, because if you are using, if there's bound and you end up in the bind ends up creating a new copy ID of your package in order to allow the bind to finish without having to have stopping all the other threads that are on that package. Now you know which one you're looking at. So these are the updated reports for that. And then we have report updates. The final thing for SysView for DB2 is report updates and support for the new copy L metrics in IFKID 9596. The new sort L area size and area key size fields now reflect the usage of the sort L or the sort list instructions in SQL. These instructions are used when used with the IBM Z715 processor, can improve sort processing performance. And so now you can see when they're actually being used within your business. And these are the reports where you would find that information. Okay, that is the extent of our IFKID updates. Now we've also updated our archive tables. We are starting on a cadence of updating our archive tables every 6 months. We choose not to update them with every IFKID change, just because an update to the archive tables means an update to the object DDL, and we wanted to not be introducing essentially a DDL change with any PTF that adds an IFKID field update. So we tend to batch those up on a 6-month cadence going forward. We do see a lot of updates here initially, because we actually have not done an update to the archive tables in about a year and a half, and we are changing that behavior, and as I said, going to a 6-month cadence on that. So this is our first of that cadence. So we'll see how we do sticking to it moving forward. But here are the metrics that have been added to the archive tables. And then here is the list of all of the tables that have been updated to support those additional metrics. And as I said, moving forward, this list should not be as expansive because our cadence will be better. Okay, moving into our last change for SysView for DB2, that is a warning message is now potentially being generated by default. So back when we introduced level set functionality and deliver PTFs, there was a requirement that all products within DB2 connect and talk to the X Manager, which was not a problem for everybody except for SysView for DB2. And so at that time, SysView for DB2 implemented that behavior, but it implemented 3 different check levels. One was a quiet level, which said, I don't want to hear about the messaging. I don't want to hear that I need to have X Manager, when my data collector starts up. And then, so we just didn't message at all. Then there was a warn level, which, we would do a message saying, hey, you're starting up your data collector and you don't have an X Manager. You might want to look into that in the future. And then there is also a fail level, which when it detects there's no X Manager, when data collector starts up, it won't allow data collector to start up. So the default when we rolled that maintenance out was warn, but customers could choose to change it and set it to quiet. We've removed we've deprecated quiet as an option. So if you have quiet in your Parm lib, it's not a problem. We'll still read it in. It doesn't throw an error, but we set it to warn. So so you will potentially start seeing warn messages if your data collector is not finding an X Manager. I want to make sure I'm very clear here. If your data collector already is finding an X Manager, you will not see any messaging at all because you have the correct environment configuration. So this does not come into play there. But if you do not have an X Manager, connecting with and found by your data collector, you will start seeing messages coming out saying you need to get that in place. And probably next year around this time, we will be deprecating warn, and we'll be going directly to a fail state. So regardless of what you have set in your Parmalib, if you do not have that data collector XManager configuration, the data collector will at that point fail. That's not where we are right now. Right now we're at warn, but please take warn seriously and start moving towards getting that resolved so that you don't get impacted by fail, probably sometime, late next year. Okay, so I spun through, several updates there. Are there any questions about anything any of us have talked about?
I don't see anything in there, Andy.
Okay. I'm just going to wait just a minute because I know that XManager warn thing was the last one. I want to make sure anybody that's typing has a chance. Okay, so in closing, I do not have a slide for this at the moment. I didn't get one added, but we do have a virtual MTE event in October. I encourage you all to do a quick Google search for Broadcom, MTE, 2024, and find out the registration information and join us at that event. It is a great opportunity to get more specifics and details around what our product development's doing, not just in the DB tools solution area space, but across our entire software group. So with that, I know you guys have other things to do in your schedules and we're all busy. Thank you for spending the last 40 minutes with us and learning about what we've been doing to help you with your businesses. And have a great rest of your day and week.
Bye, everybody.